Well, here we are on the King Alfred Running Day, 3rd of January 2022. We've been at this for 35 years, it's amazing, isn't it? And today, for the first time in about a fortnight, it's not raining. So what we've been doing and what we will be doing today is giving people rides on our King Alfred buses, just as ever. And the focus today has been on 419, one of our 2 Leyland Panthers, which has just had a full body restoration and is looking rather shiny at the moment. So we thought it was worth having that as the sort of kingpin, centerpiece of our day today. This is the most modern bus in the King Alfred collection, the Friends of King Alfred Buses collection. This is a 1970 Leyland Panther. It has body by Plaxtons of Scarborough, seats 52. There were 3 of these originally in the King Alfred fleet, and we have 2 of them. This one, 419, and 417, which is the very last bus to operate on the last night of service of King Alfred Motor Services in April 1973. Some of the nice features about this bus is that it's green painted, but there's a stripe of red in it, which really sets it off rather finely. These vehicles were, at the time, very modern. They have a Leyland 680 engine, so very quick, lots of get up and go. Quite a different sort of prospect from the buses beforehand. A lot of work being done on the body. Very nice bus, and we're very proud of the sign writing on the top. WCG 104. It's a Leyland Tiger Cub, 45 seats. It was introduced into the King Alfred fleet in 1959. It is a very straightforward vehicle with a 4-speed gearbox, a Leyland 375 engine, powered by diesel, and it has air brakes. It also has heaters. For its time, it was quite advanced, and its big feature was that it was very lightweight, so it didn't use very much fuel. That was what it was all about. In the late 1950s, after Suez, the price of fuel was growing up a lot, and bus operators were looking for nice, cheap to run vehicles, and this is a very easy, economical vehicle to run. So that's WCG 104. Thank you very much. I used these when I was first a conductor 48 years ago. This is what's called a Setright machine. Amazingly, invented by a man called Setright. This is a genuine King Alfred Setright ticket machine. These were introduced in the 1950s and continued to be used right the way through until 1973. We've got the prices on the top. So this dial here has the pennies on the outside, but I think this machine has actually been converted to decimal, so that's 14p. And when the conductor takes over this machine at the beginning of the shift, he makes a note of all these numbers. You can see it says here single tickets, return tickets, total tickets, and here it says half pence, and on the back it's got shillings, which of course is not really relevant in a decimal situation. So he notes all those numbers down, and then he's ready to go. There's a few other little details. On the side of the machine, I don't know whether you can see in the light here, there's a line here which says date, stage and route. The key thing about this therefore is that you can issue single tickets, there's an S there for single, or return. So let's issue a twopenny return, shall we? There we are, and here is a twopenny return. Let's get it so you can see it. There you go. So the difference here is that it says return on the side, not single. Imagine then the conductor uses this all day long, and at the end he'll write down the numbers at the end of each route, and then at the end he fills in all the numbers wherever they are, and that will tell him or her how much money he is looking for to pay in. It's a really good system and was continuing to use, and much after King Alfred, Setright machines were still in use in the 1980s until the electronic age came in, really. and the conductor would wear it round his neck like this with a cash bag on this side, and a good conductor would issue tickets really quickly. There you are. And of course would be required to do the mental arithmetic to make them work. So if somebody said, I want 3 adults, 2 children and a dog to wherever it was, the conductor had to work out what the prices were and then add them together and charge the right money and make sure it all tallied up with his machine.
How many shillings were in a pound?
20 shillings in £1 and 12 old pennies in 1 shilling. 240 old pennies in £1.
Right.
As opposed to 100 new pennies in £1 and no shillings at all. And it took them a week in 1971 to convert everything from the old money to the new. It was a very exciting moment. And the bus companies all switched over the following weekend on the 21st of February. And the intervening week was a right model, as you can imagine. But for the people who were doing the work, it must have been quite a big exercise. Anyway, that is the Set-Right ticket machine.
Do we have breakdown covers?
Yes, we have to have a contract with a company that will come and bail us out if we get into difficulty. The big issue is to get the buses towed in, and nowadays, although we have one of our members has a towing vehicle, actually the modern towing vehicles that you see them on the motorways and things pulling big vehicles around, they are very competent and they are the best way to get a vehicle in. So if something fails, and they do fail, the best thing to do is to get them home. If somebody comes out with a big machine and pulls them back, we have a scheme for paying for that. It's a very good investment. But then we do our own repairs. Once we get them here, it's our own people who have learnt over the years what needs to be done to get on and do it.
But just doing that bit there took about half a day. Well, yes, it's a Leyland PD2, built in 1950. We got it as a bit of a wreck. No seats, no windows. The panels were very bad, and we've now spent 3 or 4 years getting up to this standard. It was a standard bus that King Halford had, but this is the full height one, which is up to about 14'6". We're now at the point of putting the seats in, and then once that's fixed, we then finish off the inside, sort out all the windows and the frames, and then paint it, and hopefully that's it.
Tyres is a big issue for us. As you can imagine, we have 14 vehicles and each of them have 6 tyres.
The sidewalls aren't cracked at all. There's plenty of tread on it, so this tyre is a good tyre. But we do keep tyre monitoring records because of the legislation. We make sure that the ones we have are in good condition, and we maintain a register of what we have, recording the date fitted, date checked, and the date code on the tyres.
Hello. Thank you very much. This is an AEC renown. It's 595 LCG, and we have two of them. We have 596 as well. This one is in King Alfred green with the statue on the side. The other one is painted red and has Hans and Dorset on the side, which is its later life. This bus left Winchester but went to Merseyside and worked for Castrol after it had finished its career in Alfred City. Whereas the red one went across the Atlantic to Washington DC, and we had to rescue it from there. This one was rescued by a member of the Oxford Bus Museum at the time, back in the 1980s, and restored. And eventually it was donated to the Friends of King Alfred Buses. It has 75 seats. It was built in 1964. We've just recently retrimmed the seats inside it, so it's all fresh and new. It is, of course, a very early generation low floor bus. So although there's quite a substantial step here, it is the only step into the saloon of the bus. So once you've got on that step, it's completely flat inside and people can get through very easily. You hear about flat floor buses in the new generation. Well, this is a 1960s flat floor bus. The important thing about it was that it had a drop center rear axle, which meant that it's only 13'6" high. It's a low height vehicle, ran in Winchester from 1964 until about 1977, and the last 4 years of that for Hans and Dorset rather than for King Alfred. Very unusually, it has what's called mono-control transmission, which means it has two pedals, no clutch, and an electric gear change, which makes it very nice to drive. So there you are, that's the AEC renown. So there's another day, nearly finished. King Alfred running day, 3rd of January 2022, and we've had our fleet out on the road pretty well without incident, touch wood. So that's great news, and lots of people have come despite the COVID panic. We've seen lots of familiar faces and 1 or 2 new ones as well, so it's been great fun. It's lovely to see the buses out on the streets in the great Winchester Sea. We've enjoyed ourselves, hope you have too. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you for watching. My special thanks to all members of Friends of King Alfred Buses. Thanks for everyone helping to make this video. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Hello Wallace.